Hi everyone, welcome to Sunday Supper, episode 2. We are featuring comfort food tonight. And I am joined tonight with chefs Daron Goldstein of Provender, way up in Ellsworth, and Carter Light of Coda in Southwest Harbor. We're so excited to dive right into that recipe. But first, just a moment to remind everyone why we're here tonight. We'll be right back. Get out your ingredients and we'll be ready.
We can save the jobs by saving the businesses. That's our mission here.
What's important about ReUp and the Sunday Supper is it brings a community of some of my favorite chefs together where we can all focus on trying to get some stimulus to the whole industry.
The reality is for restaurants, we are in a situation where the unknown is what's really frightening.
Help us survive. We'll be here for you.
Nice little reminder there of, again, why we're here at Sunday Supper, to have some fun and cook along with some of Maine's top chef talents, but also to support Maine's restaurant owners around the state. And by doing so, support a lot of Maine businesses, that trickle-down effect, right? Farmers, fishermen, everyone that supplies those restaurants. So you can find out more information and the recipes for tonight at tastemaine.com. But let's dive right into that main dish recipe, again with Daron Goldstein of Provender way up in Ellsworth, and Carter Light of Southwest Harbor. Up the coast is where we journeyed for comfort food main dish. So gentlemen, I am excited to hear what we're cooking up first.
All right, Sarah, thank you. We're super excited to be here today for this great cause here at Old Main Studios. I'm Daron Goldstein, the chef owner of Provender in Ellsworth. We're gonna be We broke it down to 3 parts. The wet ingredients, the dry ingredients, and then we'll finally be frying the chicken. Coda is here. He's going to help explain the marinade to us.
I'm Carter Light from Coda, the chef owner there up in Southwest Harbor. Daron brought me along today to go over the wet part of the ingredients, which is going to be the first stage. So today we have 4 cups of buttermilk, 2 cups of milk, some chopped thyme, about 2 tablespoons, 2 teaspoons of Old Bay. We have salt and pepper, and then a little bit of paprika. We're using about a teaspoon of it, just enough to add a little bit of smokiness and punch to it. All this stuff is available at Hannaford or any other local store. We're trying to support some main companies like Oakhurst with our dairy, and it all goes into a start of a good base of a chicken recipe.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go over some of the dry ingredients with you, and we're going to list these off. First, we have 4 ounces of Wonder flour, 2 1/4 cups of cornstarch, 4 ounces of rice flour, 3 teaspoons of Old Bay seasoning, 3 teaspoons of salt, 3 tablespoons of black pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of each garlic powder and cayenne, and we're going to be mixing up all those right into a bowl all together.
Awesome, and it sounds like we better also put something to sip along with it, guys. So where should we head?
Yeah, we're gonna go see our friends over at Havana. They're making an apple cinnamon mojito, and we can't wait to see what they got going on.
Great, yummy.
Hi everybody, welcome to beautiful Bar Harbor, Maine. We're here at Havana Restaurant. My name is Harmon. I am the head bartender here.
My name is Cameron Prescott. I'm the head chef at Copita, our sister restaurant in Northeast Harbor. Casey's going to be going ahead and making us an awesome cocktail to go along with that fried chicken today. Should definitely be some comfort food, some comfort drinks.
All right, great. Well, it's comfort food. So autumn's coming up. We got the fall season. So I'm going to be making a kind of an autumn-inspired mojito since it is Havana and we do a lot of mojitos here. You can find the recipe right at tastemaine.com after I'm done.
All right, Casey, my man, I'm pretty thirsty. What do you got for me?
So we got some fresh mint here, cinnamon sticks. We got fresh apples from a local orchard. We got some fresh apple cider as well. Some lime juice, fresh squeezed lime juice. We do a ton of fresh squeezed lime juice every single day here at Havana. This is actually a distillery right from Maine. It's a Sebago Lake distillery. It's from Gardner, Maine. A lot of times you use white rum for a mojito, but with the gold rum, it's really gonna bring up that cinnamon and the apples, the apple cider.
This sounds great, man. Is there anything else that you would ever change about the mojito? Like, the apples sound really good, but...
Yeah, absolutely. Mint goes great with everything. You can play with your mojitos. It doesn't just need to be lime juice and mint and rum. You can do anything. There's actually strawberries is one of my favorite things to use in them. A lot of people always ask me if I can do a strawberry mojito. They're not on the menu just because I'd be making way too many of them.
That sounds like it'd go good with that dessert, that
Yes,
strawberry shortcake.
yeah, absolutely. I heard there is a strawberry shortcake getting made,
Nice.
and it would be probably pretty perfect with that. So if you have strawberries at home, get them right at your local Hannaford. You can throw them right in there, muddle them right up with the mint. It's gonna be delicious. All right, we're gonna start making this cocktail. You ever been behind a bar, Cameron, or is it always at the other side?
Yeah, I've been front before.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
It's a different type of animal, but
It is, yeah.
it's nice. All right, so we use pure, it's sugar in the raw. It's a classic way to make a mojito. You can make a simple syrup out of it, but I actually like just using fresh sugar in the raw. Just a couple little spoonfuls. The raw sugar is less sweet than you expect, so it might look like a lot, but it's not gonna be. And then you have to use quite a bit of lime with a mojito. So you take your fresh lime juice that we squeeze right from here every single day, about 4 quarts a day. Dump your lime juice in, and then it comes to the fresh mint. The mint is delicious on a lot of things. I'm sure you use that in a lot of your dishes as well.
Definitely.
About, I don't know, depends on the size of the mint, probably 8 to 10 leaves, especially you want to get that mint flavor. That is what makes a great mojito.
We use a lot of fresh herbs at Copita, and Hannaford does a really good job getting the freshest stuff that they can.
They do, for sure.
Yeah.
You go in there, the mint's all fresh, crispy, delicious. Also, when you're picking your mint, if you want to give it a little slap, it brings out the oils. Throw it in there, gives it an aroma. It's delicious. Next, we're going to take our local apples that you get rid of at Hannaford. We're going to be muddling, so you don't want to muddle too many apples, but you just want to muddle a little bit just to get that taste. So I'm going to do about 4, 5 cubes. All right, now the apples and the mint are in the glass. We're going to take a cinnamon stick. This is a zester. You probably have one, or you can use a cheese grater, the small side. And since it is fall, it is apples, it is cinnamon, just gonna zest that over. You don't need a lot. It's the fresh cinnamon stick really shines through with just that much. Then after that, you're gonna take your local rum. So this is about 2 ounces. It's the same size as a regular shot glass you have in your cupboard. So about 2 ounces of that. Usually with a mojito, you muddle before you put the alcohol in. But with this, I really want to infuse that mint, the apple, the cinnamon, and the local apple cider. About 1 ounce of that, about half a shot glass. Pour that right in, and then it goes to muddling. A wooden muddler works great, especially if you're muddling in a glass. I had a metal muddler, it worked great, but every time you do this, it cracks. So you're gonna muddle all this goodness together. You don't want to over muddle. When you over muddle mint, it bruises the mint. And you can taste that in the drink. It's not as good. You want that mint to be fresh. You're gonna dump the ice. And while I'm shaking, you always have to give a good little spin on it, a little smile. All right, and after you're all done shaking, all you do is add a little bit of soda water. That really brings out the mint, everything else in it. Gives little bubbles as well. Pour it right into the glass. And there's your comfort cocktail. You can find that recipe right on tastemaine.com. Also, please donate to the Restaurant Relief Fund. Helps us all out in this time.
That looks great, man. You got one for me?
Absolutely. Here's yours, my friend.
Oh, thank you,
I think
sir.
this is going to go great with that side you got cooking up. Also, that fried chicken that the guys are doing back at the studio.
Yeah, Daron and Carter, that recipe definitely looks good. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm excited.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys. Oh my gosh, that autumn mojito looks so refreshing and perfect to go along with this comfort food meal. I'm gonna get one of those next time, have it full of this instead. So just to recap, folks, again, we're gonna be making the Provender fried chicken. So hopefully you've gone to tastemaine.com to get that recipe and you have laid out all your ingredients, that Oakhurst buttermilk, Oakhurst whole milk. You've gone to Hannaford's and got your other ingredients there, all those great seasonings. You got the flour and the cornstarch, ready to make that dredge for the fried chicken, right guys? And again, that you've gone and made yourself a nice autumn mojito to go with this meal. You can use seltzer and make a version for the kiddos too. And how wonderful that amongst all those ingredients, fresh Maine apples, you can go right to a Maine source again with Sebago Lake rum. I love, that's a Gardner, Maine-based company. Again, folks, the more we support these Maine restaurants, the more you're supporting Maine's economy as a whole. There are farmers and fishermen and distillers and brewers and cheesemakers and people of all types that are supporting the restaurants. So by going to tastemaine.com, donating to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, you're also supporting all these companies. But I'd like to hear more about how we're doing so far with this fund. So I am excited to introduce the president of Maine Studios, Tristan Noyes, to tell us a little more about how we are doing so far, just only at episode 2, Tristan.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Sarah Taylor, and hello to everyone and all of our friends across the state. It's my privilege for this evening and for Sunday Supper episodes to serve as your Maine Map man, updating everyone on how we're doing with regard to our goals to raise funds for the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund in support of your favorite restaurants across all 16 counties in Maine. Over the next 4 months, ReUp Maine Restaurant Relief Fund is going to put about its efforts to raise $500,000 to $1 million to move in direct financial assistance to restaurants. Our hope is that we can provide $5,000 grants to between 100 and 200 restaurants. And so to add a little bit of fire to your donations throughout this evening, we have exactly 200 restaurant applicants that have applied that are here portrayed on our vintage map. And actually earlier today, we had a little help from our friends, the very talented Justin and Scarlett Strunk, who helped to place all 200 of these applicants in all 16 counties. So we're super proud of our efforts and everyone's efforts who's been able to contribute so far. Who are these restaurants that are such a big part of our daily lives? Well, we know them, and we know them really well. In 2 cases on this map, there are restaurants that have been in business for over 110 years. That's well more than half of the life of our own state. We have 5 restaurants on this map that predate World War II. And we have 40 restaurants that have been in operation for more than 30 years. And we can't forget our new restaurants, which have helped to create Maine as one of the leading restaurant states in the entire country. So now is the time for us to demonstrate what it really means that makes us so proud to be Mainers and to support one another. Our goal for this Sunday supper is to raise between $1,000 and $5,000 today during this episode. You can donate now at tastemaine.com, and I'll be back a little later to give updates throughout the course of the evening. To make this even a little sweeter, Miley Bucher from Hannaford Supermarkets is going to join us in just a bit to announce the first 2 recipients of the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. Sarah?
Super exciting. It makes it all more real, folks, now that we can take exactly what we're talking about and truly help out a few restaurants one at a time through the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. So super excited to announce 2 of those recipients today, so stay tuned for who that is. But again, we are here to create some comfort food with some of Maine's leading top chef talents. So without further ado, we got to get back and start frying some of this chicken, or what do we got to do next, chefs?
I'm going to start with the marinade for our chicken. It's pretty simple. We're starting with a buttermilk base. It's going to add a lot of flavor in there. And we're just going to combine everything in a bowl, just like you do at the restaurant. We'd make this in bigger batches normally, but for this sort of thing, it's great. This will probably do about 3 pounds of chicken. So any kind of standard thing you can get at the store. So we're going to start with adding the buttermilk.
Yep.
Right there.
Very exciting, just to note, Oakhurst has actually signed on as a sponsor, you guys. So thanks
great.
for using Oakhurst milk and products. We're happy to have them on board.
Yeah, of course, we use them at the restaurant, so it's an easy thing to get into.
Great.
Yeah,
Another Maine
absolutely.
company.
Another Maine company.
Now, Coda, what if we were at the store, you're driving home, you forgot the buttermilk? Like, what would be a good plan B?
Pickle juice.
Absolutely.
Nice. Go with pickle juice on it, and then you can cut the pickles up, put them on top of it as well.
Wait,
Yeah.
just pickle juice
Just
in lieu
pickle
of
juice
buttermilk?
right out of the jar. If you can't get buttermilk at all, just use pickle juice.
Yeah, that's a great brine.
Yeah,
Nice
it's-
salty, vinegary kind of finish on there.
Exactly,
You know.
and it'll do the same thing to the chicken. It'll break it down a little bit. It'll keep it moist when you're doing it. So
Awesome.
anyway, go with pickle juice. Fun fact. So then we're going to add our milk in there.
That's pro tip number 1 for today.
Pro tip number 1, just pickle juice. Our fresh thyme, Old Bay seasoning, little kosher salt. Any salt you have in the pantry is totally fine. It's all going to do the same thing. Black pepper, make sure you grind your black pepper because we're not going to be removing any peppercorns out of these things, and a little bit of paprika. So once you have everything added in there, just whisk it up. Whisk it up. Make sure it's all incorporated. You want to get all this flavor in the chicken.
Can you over whisk this? Like if this is something the kids are doing at home?
No, it's a great thing for kids.
Shake it up.
And how long would you say you want to put the chicken in there for?
You can do it anywhere from an hour if you're just trying to get a dinner done at home, or you can let it sit overnight. You're probably not going to hurt it. Probably the longer the better.
Sounds
if
good.
we were doing it in the restaurant, we would probably let it go at least a day
Awesome.
before we started serving it. So once you get there, you can add all your chicken in. We have some that's already been marinating on their way down here, so we're just going to incorporate it right in. And that's it. Just gotta
So
let
again,
it go.
that's about for 3 pounds chicken. It should look like about that much.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're talking to a non-chef here, so I like to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, it'll cover it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what do we got cooking over there, Daron?
We have the dry mix to the recipe, and this would be a good time to make sure your oil is hot. We cook it at about 350 degrees at the restaurant. So I'm going to go through some of the dry mix together, and the same thing, they're going to use a big enough bowl to combine everything that the chicken can sit in, and there's plenty of room to pat it in there and really flatten it out a little bit. So rice flour, Wonder flour, and some cornstarch, and then we'll go into some of our seasonings, which is again some Old Bay, salt, crushed black pepper, garlic, and cayenne. And again, make it your own if you want. If you want a little hotter, add another teaspoon of cayenne, or tone it down a little bit and add a little less. And we're just going to mix it all together. This will be dry, so make sure this is well combined. And we're going to be getting our chicken in here, will be the next step.
Is that generally a good rule of thumb that wet ingredients are typically all mixed together, then your dries, again, asking for the cooks at home like me?
No, absolutely. It's the best way to do it, and to have that marinade being ready to go, have your dry ready to go, and then you'll be ready to get your chicken in there.
Yeah, and you can pretty much put whatever you want in there for seasonings.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this. You know, it could be just salt and pepper. If you didn't have rice flour, 100% AP flour would be fine. 50% cornstarch, 50% flour. It would all work just fine.
Okay, so it looks like everyone should be preparing a bowl of their wet ingredients, a bowl of their dry, and while they're all putting that together, they might not be as fast as you master chefs.
Right.
I'm super curious to hear, Carter, let's start with you. What's changed since, COVID hit in March? What's been going on in Southwest Harbor?
Southwest Harbor got hit really hard because of this. Tourism started later than it normally is on months that we really count on. We had to shut the restaurant down for traditional dining, so we've done some pivoting. We are doing prix fixe dinners 2 nights a week, only for 25 people. It's enough for us that we could pare back our staff. We have 2 people helping me out, and it's just me cooking. But that's about the extent of what we can do. And then we were also able to take our sausages that we normally make in the restaurant and start selling them in stores. So we had to pivot a lot in the beginning of the season. It's been kind of been a challenge, but also an opportunity at the same time.
Right, and that's interesting because you're just as busy, but because of COVID, you had to change how you're getting the business out the door.
Yeah, and I think we're all in the same boat. We're always used to being busy, but it's not a consistent busy. It's something different every day, and we're just constantly trying to adapt to what's changing.
Same here at Provender. One of the biggest things, our biggest concerns this winter, or even the late fall, will be the cold weather.
Yeah.
The elimination of the outdoor dining, which has basically been the lifeline for a lot of restaurants around in our area. This summer has not looked like the regular summers it has been from the past. So moving everybody back in with a social distancing and keeping everybody 6 feet away, where's everybody gonna go? And how many people are gonna come out? So every day is day by day right now.
Yeah.
We really don't know. You can't rely on any numbers you had from last year or any past years. This year is gonna be completely different. That's why it's so important, if you have time, to go to tastemaine.com. Donate what you can. Support your local restaurants that you love to go down to. Because no restaurants would just, would change the whole dynamic of your local
Right.
community for sure.
Those donations can be the difference between getting the plastic up and getting the extra sanitation stuff that restaurants need because it's expensive to reopen.
Yeah.
So it can help out a ton.
Right, and that's
Absolutely.
exactly why we're here, folks, to help restaurant owners just like this. So again, we're here to cook some comfort food, but why we're really here is for you to go to tastemaine.com to be inspired to do so and to donate to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund to help some of these restaurant owners out who are not only already facing a set of
Hi
challenges.
folks, welcome back to Havana and Bar Harbor. My name is Cameron Prescott. I'm the head chef at
Winter is coming, and obviously we'll have to, jump over some new hurdles with that. So, but let's get back to cooking some good food, and what goes better with fried chicken than we need a good comfort food side dish. So let's throw it back up to the gentleman in Havana, up in Bar Harbor, for a nice treat as a side dish. Boys?
Hi folks, welcome back to Havana and Bar Harbor. My name is Cameron Prescott. I'm the head chef at Copita in Northeast Harbor. Here again with Casey, and we're going to be making my dad's corn casserole. It's been very popular in my family among the years during holiday events, get-togethers, any sort of family gathering. There will be some corn casserole on the table. So I really love using fresh local ingredients as much as I can, and supporting local farms and farmers is something that I really value as a chef. The first step that we're going to be doing today is adding your dry ingredients. So in that case, it's a corn muffin mix. It's just a boxed mix that you can find at Hannaford. I use Jiffy, but any corn muffin mix will work. So we're just going to add that to the bowl. And then the next step that we're going to be doing is adding the wet ingredients. So in this case, it is some creamed corn and a little bit of Daisy sour cream. Okay. So we will just scoop this into our mixing bowl. And we will give this a nice mix so that everything is consistent. So now we're going to add our Cabot Cheddar. I use a blend of Seriously Sharp and Simply Sharp cheddar. Cabot is one of my favorite cheeses, and they are actually local to Maine.
Cabot Cheddar, the one like the Vermont Cabot?
Yeah, so Cabot is actually, they are based out of Vermont. You will see Vermont on their label, but something interesting that they do that helps support Maine's economy is they use a lot of Maine cows in their dairy production. So
absolutely.
the next step that we have is the sweet corn that I like to get from Maxwell Farms. In this case, I actually got it from Hannaford, but they support a lot of local farms and farmers in their production. So I don't think you'll be disappointed.
You can go on tastemaine.com to help out the Restaurant Relief Fund, which have been a great help to a lot of local restaurants.
All right, so now that our casserole is made, it's ready to add it to our pan and get it in the oven. I think that it's going to be a good one.
That looks delicious, Chef.
Thank you. It's my dad's recipe. He took pride in what he does. He never had any sort of like training or anything, but he just loved cooking for the family and taking care of us at home. So I really appreciate using his recipes and being able to keep that tradition going.
All right, I'm a casserole guy. This is coming out. This is coming out great. I see you put the black pepper on that to finish it off. Is that ready for the oven?
That's ready, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yep. Well, after 40 minutes at 375, here's the finished product. The magic of TV. It's all done.
Oh wow, that looks delicious, Chef.
Thank you.
I wish we had that fried chicken right now to go with it. It'd be perfect.
Seriously, me too.
Absolutely.
Would you like to try some?
Oh, what do you mean? Of course I would. I'm guessing you're going to send me the recipe after this, or?
Actually, if you want the recipe, you can go to tastemaine.com.
Oh, yeah,
it's going to be
absolutely.
posted right there. We can FaceTime and make it together if you need help. If not, then I think it's pretty easy.
All right. So I think this, with that mojito I made earlier, would be a perfect combination for that fall comfort.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree.
Speaking of fall, it's kind of weird not knowing what the future is going to bring, week to week, month to month, as far as how business is going to go, especially in a very tourist town. That actually makes my worries go away a little bit because that's absolutely delicious. I think your father would be proud of this one.
Thank you. I think so too. I think he'd be really happy to know that his recipe gets to be shared with all the great people of Maine at tastemaine.com. If any of you at home want to cook along with us, feel free to watch this episode and we can cook together. And if you feel like donating to the Restaurant Relief Fund, we would obviously really appreciate that as well. We're all just trying to make it in this fall. We don't really know what the future holds. It's very uncertain times for all of us in this industry, so we could really just appreciate the community coming together and helping support us in these troubling times.
I just love that you used your dad's little recipe, Chef Cameron. Thanks so much for sharing that. And again, perfect side to go along with this comfort food meal. So hopefully you guys that wanted to cook along tonight went to tastemaine.com to get that recipe and cooked along with Chef Cameron and mixologist Casey up there at Havana. If not, again, don't worry. These recipes are all available at tastemaine.com, where you can also donate to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund while we're all here. To all you restaurateurs out there, it's also where you can apply for the fund yourself. And there's even some swag on there from different restaurants, t-shirts, caps and such. And also a lot of people have been asking about these Taste Maine masks. Great advertisement for us. One of those nice liners in there fits really well, right gentlemen? Those are gonna be available soon on the website as well. So go to tastemaine.com, donate to the fund while you're there, and you can grab yourself a Taste Maine mask. Now, we're about halfway through the show. It is time to check in and see how we are inching up towards that $1,000 to $5,000 goal from our private donors. That's you guys tonight. So I would love to check back in with you, Tristan, and see how things are coming along.
Well, thanks, Sarah Taylor. And I can stand here very excitedly to share some updates from the early part of the show. So far, we have raised more than $1,100. So if you remember at the first segment, thanks. The first segment, we wanted to raise between $1,000 and $5,000. So let's get to the $5,000 by the end of the show. Head to tastemaine.com to help make that happen. As I mentioned earlier, we are trying to raise between $500,000 and $1 million over the course of the next 4 months. And it's really an honor to share that we have raised 10% of what our goal is so far through our early efforts at the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. That is possible thanks to the extremely generous contributions of Hannaford Supermarkets, Bangor Savings, Oakhurst Dairy, viewers like you, and the participants that have been joining us on Sunday Supper. This means that we have about $120,000 that we're going to be $1,000 increments, and it also means that already we can award dozens more grants. And so I want to explain a little bit about something we're going to be using over the next number of days for Sunday Supper. We're going to fill this entire Maine map up from west to east and north to south. And we're going to do that every time that we give a $5,000 grant. We're going to put these wooden dowels up onto the map.
That's a grant for a restaurant. That's a grant for a restaurant.
And by next week on Sunday Supper, we're going to give at least 4 more. And with the funds that we've raised, we can go all the way to here, 24, all the way up to there and down from this side. So just help us fill the rest of this over. And you may be wondering about, well, how does this break down in terms of the 16 counties inside Maine? We have 72 applications from Cumberland County, 31 from York. We have 13 from Knox and 12 each in Hancock and Kennebec. 8
Kind of
each.
see it over here, right?
Yeah, 8 each in Lincoln and Penobscot, 7 in Somerset, 6 each in Aroostook and Washington, 5 in Waldo County, Androscoggin, and Oxford, 4 each in Franklin and Sagadahoc, and 2 in Piscataquis. Now, with winter on its way, a lot of folks are predicting some dire results. But as a Mainer, I feel that we have such resolve to be able to come together as a community to support one another, just as we always do in times that are tough. And now is that time to support the places that make living in Maine such a special thing, the place that give vibrancy to our communities. And so to invoke a little LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow, you don't have to take my word for it. I have a couple of quotes I wanted to share with you from folks who have donated so far to the fund. So first, thank you to everyone for creating this fund and the creative way you're highlighting the industry and all those who support and rejoice in it. Thanks so much for providing this platform to showcase the amazing talent in our lovely state. I hope this is wildly successful and we can show our support for such an important craft. Then simply, great vision, great cause, keep going. And that's what we have to do. We must keep going together. So please, if you can, give what you can at tastemaine.com. Next week, we will announce live 4 more recipients of the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund grant. And I hope that you'll join us to now make this entire effort possible. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. Sarah?
Thanks for that great update, Tristan. It reminds me too, I was born and raised in Maine. There's a certain sense of identity to not only be from here, but just to move here and live here. You get that spirit just in going out to restaurants, to other businesses. There's something special about being from this state. A lot more than there is from, I've noticed, other states. So whether you're from Maine watching tonight, or the state has a special place in your heart and you spend your summers here, you know exactly what we mean, that our restaurant industry is a part of our spirit in this state. And to hear that we have interest equals challenges that these restaurants are facing. The fact that we have applications from all 16 counties of Maine, far-reaching spaces, places you may not have ever heard of or been to, even if you've lived in Maine your whole life, but each one of these regions are facing their own set of challenges, as well as all the normal challenges restaurants are facing as we battle COVID-19 around the country. You know, there's no elephant in the room why we're all here tonight, why we all started masks, why we're staying far away from each other. You know, it's a scary time, and restaurant owners across the state, they are no minor exception to folks who are scared about what's going to happen to their livelihood, how they're going to put food on the table for their own families, and also, you know, what's going to happen with their businesses. Are they going to be able to rehire all the staff they had to let go while things are changing and evolving? So that's why we need you all to go to tastemaine.com, donate what you can, be a part of this team. We're creating a big team around the state of chefs, of people that care about restaurants, of sponsors that want to give money to this. All very exciting. I mean, Daron and Carter, if I can throw it over to you for a second, you know, what does it mean to Provender if you were the next recipient of a grant next week, let's say, because I know you've applied,
Yep,
right?
That's correct.
And what would that mean to you?
It would be amazing, and you know, it really, everything kind of happened for restaurants overnight. You know, one minute we're cooking, the next minute, boom, we're shut down. We really didn't have any warning system here. You know, so not only are we, you know, donating to local restaurants, but the whole ecosystem of what makes the restaurant run. You know, your fishmongers, your produce, your wineries, the breweries. So it's not just one aspect of the restaurant that we're donating to. It's really to keep the whole system alive.
Right.
And also, you know, employees, keeping everybody giving a paycheck. So it's extremely important.
Yeah, and along the same lines, Carter, I know in restaurants across the state, just because of, again, who we are as Mainers, it becomes vital to use locally sourced ingredients as often as possible, because we all recognize that by supporting local, you're giving back to your own state, your own economy. So Carter, up at Coda, I'm curious, you use a lot of locally sourced, you know your farmers, you know your fishermen?
We know a lot of them, yeah. In any place like ours, I mean, there are places that are even getting more local. One restaurant can support 15, 20, 30 different farmers, purveyors, all of those things, just by one restaurant. So when one restaurant gets hit by this, it just trickles down to so many people.
Right.
Yeah.
And have you seen in your firsthand experience kind of fishers and farmers suffering because restaurants are suffering?
Oh yeah.
Sure, there's lobstermen out in the Hannaford parking lots, you know, selling lobsters, and there's no one to buy them. The restaurants aren't buying as many. We're not as busy. There's not as many people coming out. So it's clearly obvious that this is taking quite a toll on all restaurants.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can guarantee folks, if again you're from Maine or just love our beautiful state here, that you have some connection to a farmer, a fisherman, a cheesemonger, someone who works at a local market or volunteers at a farm, or any of these restaurant owners or someone that works at a restaurant. Again, by going to tastemaine.com and donating to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, you are actually helping all those folks. You're helping the entire state of Maine by giving back to this very vital part of our economy. It's not just, you know, the emotional tug that these are people's lives we're talking about, but again, being Maine is having a vital and thriving restaurant industry. So we need to get it back up and running to its full capacity. You know, challenges, we've got to face them, but there is a way to make, you know, our restaurants survive through this, and that's by going to tastemaine.com and donating to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. Speaking of fishermen and beautiful harbors and places around the state, what comfort food meal wouldn't be complete without a delicious dessert, and one very much a staple of living in the state of Maine, and that is a beautiful Maine strawberry shortcake made by the very talented chef Sara Jenkins in Nina June up in Rockport, Maine. So without further ado, let me take you up there. And just a quick tip, as we lead you into this dessert, I want you to take a peek in the distance over the hills, over the Camden Hills in Rockport, Maine. We were there during a beautiful storm as it approached. And for those of you who can see a little strike of lightning, look out for it, because it's just one more little instant that makes this state so beautiful. So without further ado, get your dessert ingredients ready, and we'll throw it up to Nina June in Rockport with Chef Sara Jenkins.
Hi, I'm Sara Jenkins, and welcome to Nina June Restaurant in Rockport, Maine, located on the most beautiful harbor in Maine. I'm here today in support of TasteMaine.com and the Restaurant Relief Fund that they've created. We'll be making a very simple, very classic Maine dessert, strawberry shortcake. All right, so step one of the recipe, we're going to start by actually making the dough, right? The biscuit dough. I'm going to start by sifting our flour, and this is just basic all-purpose flour. Add a little sugar and a little baking soda. Once we get everything mixed together nicely, a little bit of salt. I always believe in a little pinch of salt in dessert, because if you don't have a little salt, your mouth goes for it and you miss it. Strawberry shortcake is a classic Maine dessert. So we've got all our flour all sifted up together, mixed with the baking powder and the salt and the sugar. And now we're folding the chilled grated butter into it. You can either cut the butter up into little pieces, or you can grate it cold, nicely cold. You might want to stick it in the freezer for 15 minutes. Now we're adding a little buttermilk here. And we're just going to mix and bring it all together. This is a dough that you don't want to overwork. Overworking is the death of biscuits, right? We're not making bread. We shut down our restaurant in the spring when the governor shut down business. We immediately pivoted and started doing takeout. And then after July, we actually made a shop we call the Dispensa. Dispensa is Italian for pantry or dispensary. And it's really, in Italy, your dispensa is what gets you through the winter. Well, it's the same as a traditional Maine cold cellar, right? You spend your summer months putting some stuff together, pickling and preserving, and now you've got a full cellar to get you through the winter. So we created a dispensa selling many of the products that we use in our restaurant: imported Italian olive oil, canned tomatoes. So I'm just pulling the dough together a little bit to really make it hold, right, and be something that we'll want to roll out or pat out. We want to make sure all the ingredients are incorporated, but we don't want to overwork it. I'm going to put this here and let it cool down, all right? So while the dough's chilling, I'm going to take this opportunity to get the strawberries ready. It's pretty simple. You're just going to cut the strawberries in half, or maybe if they're really big, you're going to quarter them. Now, we're going to kind of macerate the strawberries in the sugar, and you're just going to toss it with a fork, and you're going to sort of give it a little bit of a mush, right? So that it can start to set off its juices. I'm going to make sure a couple are really nicely pulped, and then the rest of it, I'm just going to let it sit. So we're going to start out here by, we're just going to cut a couple biscuits, right? There's a really interesting technique here. I'm taking a little melted butter, my excess melted butter. I'm going to butter up the pan. So you have one piece of biscuit, right? And you're going to brush butter over it. And then you're going to add your other biscuit, all right? I'm going to add a little more butter over the top. I recommend with any kind of short crust or short pastry, the colder it goes into your oven, the better it's going to be. And I'm just sprinkling a little sugar over it to get it all nice and crunchy when it goes in the oven. Once you've punched out all your holes, you just push the dough back together. And so, as you can see, I'm just patting the dough out so that I can get myself 2 more circles. Okay, sticking the dough back on top again, brushing with butter, a little more sugar. All right, we're gonna bake it just like that. While you're baking your biscuits in a nice hot oven, they've come straight out of chilling in the fridge, we're gonna whip a little cream. And this is just, again, Maine whole heavy cream, and we beat it up with a little confectioner's sugar sometimes if you want things sweeter, or a little drop of vanilla, or you can put, my favorite, a little drop of brandy in there. You're not gonna get it too thick, you just want nice peaks like this, right? So right about there is where you wanted it. Now the biscuits are baked. You actually want the biscuits to cool down a little bit to room temperature. So I have them right over here already, okay? And they look great, right? And with that little technique of putting the butter in between the two thing, they're just gonna pull right apart, just like that. I like to start by soaking the biscuit with a little strawberry juice, right? And look at that. That's all just from lightly crushing the berries and sugar. The magic of time. Put a little bit of whipped cream down, and now we're gonna very generously drop strawberries on there. A little bit more whipped cream. And right there, that's pretty much your classic Maine strawberry shortcake, which we're making today for tastemaine.com. But if you wanted to gild the lily and take it just a little more over the top, you might put just a little more whipped cream on top, a little another drizzle of your strawberry, and then I like to give a little powdered sugar over the whole thing, just to make it extra fancy. So you can find this recipe at tastemaine.com, and I promise it's super simple, something even the kids could do. You can also donate to the Restaurant Relief Fund, something that we're all super appreciative of.
Ooh, that strawberry shortcake looks delicious. Thank you, Chef Sara. We really appreciate it. And hopefully you at home that got the recipe at tastemaine.com, that you could cook along with that. Love the idea of buttering between the 2 layers so you can peel those apart when you go to create your shortcake. I'm going to use that trick for sure. Again, not a big chef or baker myself, so great tip, Chef. We really appreciate it. And how beautiful is Rockport Harbor? Just one of those little gems in our state. And again, if you saw that lightning strike over Camden Hills in the distance, just such a beautiful shot. We have so many beautiful places like that in Maine. So it's been a pleasure to visit these restaurants and get to see some of these beautiful spots. So we have gotten through some 2 major steps of creating this Provender fried chicken. So you've created your dredge. You've got those wet ingredients in a bowl. You've created your marinade. You've got the dry ingredients ready. So we better really cook up some chicken here, right? That's what we're here to do. So without further ado, let me get back to Chef Daron from Provender and Chef Carter from Coda. And let's cook up some fried chicken, guys.
All right.
All right, we're finally ready. Oil is hot, chicken is marinating, the dredge is made. Coda's gonna help me out here, put some chicken in the dredge.
Bring it over to you.
Yeah, I think we got a couple pieces here. And we're using chicken thighs as well. I don't know if we mentioned that. I find them a little bit more tastier, a little more than the breast itself, but breast is fine as well if that's all you have.
Yeah.
So we're pressing this firmly in here, really kind of pressing it down, getting it well covered. We got one more?
There you go.
Oh, gee. Okay. Plenty of chicken in here now.
There you go.
No, I don't want any more.
No,
Go
come
ahead.
on.
All right, hold on, don't go anywhere. Hold on. You're gonna help me put this in. So, actually, we're gonna go with another little pro tip that we use at the restaurant. If you ever wondered how they get those places get those ripples in the chicken, they actually add a little bit of the wet back into the dry. So you give me about 2 tablespoons in there, Coda, if you would. And perfect. So this, now we'll go back into it one more time. Really press that down. You can actually see it start forming already.
Yeah, that
You know?
dredge smells good.
Yep. Yeah, you know right away when you go over someone's house and they're making fried chicken.
Oh yeah.
You know, so let's get this in here before we run out of time. Looks beautiful already. You can definitely tell this is going to be.
Evenly coated all the way around.
Yep. All right. Yep. Oil's plenty hot.
That's the sound I've been waiting to
That's what you want to hear.
And you're just kind of holding it above the basket so it's not sticking to the bottom there.
Yeah, just let it catch a little bit.
Nice.
Then let's get it in there. I think we're just going to do 2 in this fryer. Same thing if you're at home and you're using a cast iron or a 2-quart saucepan. Don't overcrowd the pan. It will lower the heat. You're not going to get the crispiness you're going to be looking for. So just a couple at a time.
Yep.
And do a couple different batches.
And don't put oil all the way to the top of your pan. You just want enough to cover that chicken or you're going to...
You're going to need a mop.
You're going to need a mop.
Right.
You need a couple mops.
Right.
Oh, it smells good.
So we're going to let this go probably about 5-6 minutes at 350 degrees. We'll check it a couple times. If you had a thermometer at home, 165 degrees is what we're looking for.
Yep.
Okay. Well, speaking of your degrees and everything, we have had some questions come in from home from those watching, and we'd love to address some of them with our expert chefs here. I love even adding the dredge back into the marinade. Great chef. I mean, we are now cooking restaurant quality food here, people, with these chefs, right? Quick question though, again, talking about locally sourced ingredients. Where did your chicken come from today, Carter?
These ones came from Tide Mill. They are up in Edmonds, and they are a multi-generational farm. They have some of the best chicken. They have pigs that are fantastic. So all of their stuff is pretty out of this world, absolutely.
So Coda, you buy a lot from this one particular farm, so they might be struggling because you are?
Yeah, we buy from them and a bunch of others. We have a ton of different purveyors, and we try and get specialty items from a lot of places that are very, very good at it. Tide Mill just happens to be some of the best chickens and pigs that I've ever had. So.
Great. And again, that trickle-down effect, folks, like if he doesn't have anyone that's there to buy the fried chicken, they're not going to buy the chicken from the farm. So this trickle-down effect, I think even the kids watching at home can understand, right? By supporting restaurants, you're supporting all the people that grow and harvest and you know, create those ingredients that go into all the food that you're making. So one more question, I think, from our audience are curious. Again, I am not a chef or even that good of a home cook, so I certainly do not have my own fry-later. You mentioned a skillet. Tell me, what's the difference in cook time or oil? What's
Yeah,
the difference
just
using a
the skillet, you want to make sure that how much oil you're putting in the pan and the temperature of it. If you have one of the higher reading candy thermometers, keep an eye on your temperature. Yep. And we were talking off camera a little bit about air fryers. And we were saying that you can't really get this kind of actual fried chicken from anything else, you know, from some kind of deep frying. You know, if you bake it, you know, air fry it, it's not going to be the same. You really want to really try to throw it in 2 quarts of oil and deep fry it. Because you know right away, that smell, you can always smell it from here already. You know that smell. As soon as you walk into a room, someone's cooking fried chicken.
So there's no cheating.
No.
Even if you've been in that COVID-19.
It's comfort food. Roll your sleeves up, make a mess. You know, throw some flour around, you know, have fun with it. That's what it's all about.
If you're going to make comfort food, make comfort food.
Yeah.
Fry the chicken.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe it looks like this isn't something the kids at home maybe should not be handling. This is something for the
probably not unsupervised. You know, you can let them marinate it, put it in the flour, and then kind of, you know, use some tongs. Don't have to dip your hands in there like we do to get the chicken in there. You know, so we're getting pretty close here, almost there. It's starting to look really good. We're going to check that in about a minute or so.
Right. Well, they're checking that. Remember why we're here, folks. We're here to raise money for the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. So you can cook along with these recipes by going to tastemaine.com, but also you can go there to donate to the fund. And to all our restaurant owners out there, just like Daron and Carter, and you've met Cameron and Casey and Sara Jenkins from 9 of June, restaurant owners like them, and to all of you restaurant owners watching, go to tastemaine.com and apply for the fund yourself. We have 200 applications in already. We welcome more. Bring it on. We want to give you guys some money and help ReUp Maine. So, chefs, let's check in on that chicken.
All right, I think we're looking pretty good here. This piece is definitely done. This looks great. You can see what we're talking about, those ripples in there, adding that wet ingredients back. You know, almost textbook fried chicken, if I do say myself. What do you think, Coda?
Looks great. And when you do pull this out, let it rest for a little bit. It's going to be super hot. That oil is 350 degrees. If you just pop this into your mouth, you are going to be hurting a little bit. So let it rest and sit for probably 5-6 minutes on some paper towels,
Yep,
let that grease drain
definitely.
out, and then you can cut into it.
So let me try a small piece.
Try a little piece of it now.
Some folks are also curious. I think
nice.
fried chicken is one of those, you know, people are split on what's
Yeah, yeah.
better, right? Is dark and crispy and a little burnt,
Yeah,
or
you
just
know you're getting
golden
close when it's
brown?
golden brown. You know you're getting close and it's time to check it, for sure. This was great. This was perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
Lucky. Well, I can't wait for my own plate, but first we have some exciting updates. What is this I'm being thrown? Ha! So again, we want to thank all our chefs today, but also our sponsors are equally as important. We couldn't be here making this show, supporting these restaurant owners, if it weren't for our sponsors, Bangor Savings Bank, Oakhurst, all of you at home, and our presenting sponsor, Hannaford Supermarkets. We are so grateful to have worked for them for a number of years, and they are once again supporting our causes. So I would like to welcome the Vice President of Marketing for Hannaford Supermarkets, Miley Bucher. Welcome, Miley.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
Let's give it up for Chef Daron and Chef Carter.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
Thank you very
Smells
much.
good
Thank
in
you.
here,
I've
huh?
gotten so many great ideas. I can't wait to get home and try these dishes.
awesome.
Yes, I know Miley cooked along during episode 1, so she's one of those that went to get those recipes at tastemaine.com. I'm curious, Miley, Hannaford Supermarkets, a big staple in Maine. What was it that inspired you all to support ReUp Maine and our cause here?
Sarah, it was really simple. When we heard about this, we completely jumped on it. Hannaford, the heart of Hannaford is really about helping communities and supporting communities in need. And when we think about the restaurant community, today is not a better time than to really jump in and to help out our brothers and sisters. We're all part of the food system, and we all play a role in nourishing communities and feeding people. And I think about all the workers in the restaurants that also need to put food on the tables for their families. And how can we help them do that? How can we give back? How can we participate in this, I think, this tremendous effort? And I think about all the great recipes and the inspiration from the chefs participating in Sunday series, and I think about the role, too, that they're playing to inspiring all those new home chefs with ideas and so forth. So it was it's an incredible project. We're all in, and we're so thrilled to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. Again, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for Hannaford helping us out and believing in our cause. And again, Hannaford is one of those staples in Maine who not only is a big supermarket, but they are huge in supporting small Maine farms and fishermen themselves and cheesemongers and businesses of all types. So you clearly understand that trickle-down effect of helping these restaurants. So I think we should get to the exciting part of the night, folks. Not to say fried chicken isn't exciting, but we are here to make this cause all real. We are going to award the first 2 recipients of a grant from the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. Again, this is why we're all here. It's why we developed this show. So exciting night for me and our crew here. And the chefs and Miley, I think, too, to finally make this all real and give away some money. So Miley, I'll let you take that away.
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
So on behalf of Hannaford Supermarkets, I'd like to announce the first $5,000 ReUp grant in Knox County, provided to Chef John Stowe at Rustica Cucino Italiano in Rockland.
Woo! Yes, and drum roll number 2.
Number 2, the second $5,000 ReUp grant happens to be right here in Cumberland County. It's going to Albert Waite for Smitty's Cinema in Windham.
Yay, Smitty's in Windham. Who doesn't love a movie theater that also serves food, right? I love that. Well, exciting on top of exciting, we were actually able to, as these were selected just before the show, we got in touch with the owners, both John and Albert, and we have them on the line, and I would love to check in. And see how this fund is going to help them. So, John, let's start with you there in Rockland. First of all, congratulations.
One of our very first recipients of the fund. Please introduce yourself and let us know how this is going to help out your restaurant in the coming months.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm John Stowe. I'm the chef and owner of Rustica in Rockland. We've been there for 14 years now, and this is fabulous. I'm a little choked up, but every little bit helps to get us through the winter. As we all know, in Maine, we count on the summer to get us through the winter, and this summer didn't quite happen. So this is great. Thank you very much for doing this for all of us.
It's nice and heartwarming to see that emotional tug from you, John. It's owners just like you that we're aiming to help out. So to hear that this is going to help you face the challenges coming into Maine, again, with the fall and winter approaching, we've been able to
work around the challenges with COVID by outdoor dining and all that, but all that will change. So glad that this money is going to be able to be put into practice and help you be that much more successful heading into a Maine winter. And like I said, we are also very excited to announce that Albert, our second recipient of a Maine Restaurant Relief Fund grant, is on the line. Albert, love to check in with you.
I know a lot of people who are fans of spending their Saturday and Sunday and any other night there at Smitty's and Wyndham. How is this going to change your business heading into fall and winter?
Well, it's going to help us tremendously. As you know, the restaurant industry and the movie industry have both been really sucked by the pandemic. And this will allow us to keep our cooks employed, our servers employed, our food runners employed. And also it allows us to provide, PPE for our staff, sanitizing stations for our customers. And it'll just help us stay open and keep everybody safe.
Great. Thank you, Albert. And again, that's what it's all about, is keeping restaurants open,
allowing them, the funds to reopen if they had to close during this time, and first and foremost, keeping each other safe. We have to follow these new guidelines to keep each other safe. We've been doing a great job in the state of Maine, and giving out these funds to these receiving restaurants will only help keep us that much safer, but also able to enjoy the amazing food being offered around the state. So Miley, we have a fun interactive element here with this. So as Tristan explained before, everyone, we are going to fill up this state with grants that we're going to give away over the next few months. We have 8 more episodes after this of Sunday Supper. So Miley, please do the honor of adding the very first grant to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund board. Yeah, stick it and it'll grip it. And we got it. Yay! Wow. Congratulations. Rockland, we've got a restaurant covered in Rockland. And grant number 2, Miley. Yay! So again, congratulations to our first 2 recipients of the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. Thank you to Hannaford for making it all possible. I know we're excited to get back over here and taste some fried chicken, but again, folks, tastemaine.com to donate to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, but also to our restaurant owners out there or anyone working at one. Tell your boss to go to tastemaine.com and apply for the fund yourself. It's real. It's happening. We're giving away money. Yay! And that's because of all of you, because of our sponsors like Hannaford. It's what's making it all possible. So we're going to shift back over here. Let me cut over here. Miley, why don't you go visit Daron? And let's try some of this delicious fried chicken. Again, hopefully you all at home have been cooking along. If not, the recipes will always be available at tastemaine.com. So go ahead, revisit those from last week. Cook along with your family. Be inspired by good food that comes from a great state. And give back to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund.
There you go.
Ooh,
All right, let's have some fried chicken.
Shall we?
With piccata.
Let's all have some.
All right.
Yeah. Again, from the Provender in Ellsworth and also Coda in Southwest Harbor. Can't thank you guys enough. Chef Daron Goldstein, Chef Carter Light. We want to thank Sara Jenkins up at 9 of June in Rockport, Casey Harmon, the bartender at Havana in Bar Harbor, and also Cameron Prescott.
Not bad.
Copita and Northeast Harbor. Right. So to all those northern areas of the coast of Maine, we thank you so much. Let me go ahead and taste this. Someone else talk so I can eat. Darren, tell us again.
Sorry, man.
Ellsworth, what's it like in the fall now? Is it still busy? Or?
We'll hopefully have a second season coming up right up until Columbus Day. We're looking forward to it. We hope that people are coming out, still taking their vacations, coming out to eat. Whether it's dine-in or takeout or however you want to do it, we're looking forward to being there for everybody.
Great. Next week, guys, we have another episode. Just next Sunday. It's that good. Go to tastemaine.com where you can get the recipes and cook along with chefs like Justin Walker of Walker's Maine and David Vargas of Ornell's Barbecue in Kittery. We're going to be having a backyard barbecue bash right here at our back patio at the studio, and also featuring some restaurants from Southern Maine. So tune in next Sunday, September 20th at 5 p.m. for the Backyard Barbecue Feast. And in the meantime, thank you so much again to our sponsors, our chefs, and everyone that made this comfort food episode possible. Go to tastemaine.com, help us all out, be part of the team that's helping ReUp Maine. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week. Yay! I want more, I want more.
This is incredible.
I want that big piece.
Just the whole piece?
Yeah, just the whole piece.
Oh, wow.
You don't even need to dip it in anything.
Great job, you guys.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
I'm
So.
for sure.